Welcome back to Roosevelt Live. In this segment of the show, we're going to talk about something that the government is going to be doing as of, I think, effective March 2013. They're going to get rid of all paper checks. So this is mostly for, I think, the elderly people that may not have computers. I'm a little concerned about that because if you're getting SSI or you're getting veterans checks, you're getting some disability checks from the government. The government is no longer going to have paper checks coming out. Everything's going to have to, I assume, is going to go through your account now. That may be okay for certain people that are younger and whatever, but what happens if you're more of an elderly person? You may not have a computer. How are you going to get your check? You may not have, well, I say computer, but I mean, go back a second. You may not have that type of a bank account where you get direct deposit. A lot of time elderly people are sick and shut-ins that they really can't get out and they have to wait for someone to come. And their check was conveniently coming to them. And they were able to go just to their mailbox and get the check. And then when someone was able to take them to whatever banking institution or credit union institution or maybe just to a supermarket or somewhere or even a check cashing place where they would go get their checks cashed. But now the government says pretty much another 10 months from now and there will be no paper trails out there anymore. And it's disturbing to me personally. It doesn't matter to me as an individual. I'm not in that situation. And I know direct deposits are important, but now the banking institutions, when the bigger banks, with just a couple of big ones out there now, you got a lot of small banks, a lot of these people are not going to be able to get out and get to these banks. And then if they're not going to have paper trail, what if they have to see their accounts? They're going to have to try to learn the computers. I just think it's sad because I know the federal government might think this is a money saver. We can save, millions and millions and millions of dollars by not printing paper, millions and millions of dollars, not using the same ink, and millions of dollars for various reasons. I don't know. But once again, it just goes to show that the way things are going in the technology field, that people are getting left behind. Because I don't think this is a good idea. I mean, overall, maybe it's always going to be about the money. So I'm sure the money plays a major role. But I am concerned about the elderly people. Because I don't think that some of these people are equipped to not be able to receive their checks. Some of these people, and I know some people might say, hey, they're going to cut down on theft because people are, like here in Tampa just recently, I know it's happening, people are robbing the mail trucks. They're robbing the mail truck probably for Social Security check. They're robbing the mail truck for, I guess maybe a month or so ago for probably some of the income tax returns. So when the mailman or woman is not safe because people are jacking the mail trucks, then I guess they figure I'm sure the government wasn't thinking about that at the time when they were deciding to make this thing a paperless system. And yes, does it help with the mail trucks? Yeah, I'm sure it does, because once the word gets to the criminals that no one's getting their checks through the mail, there's no reason to jack the mail truck for regular mail. No one's jacking the mail trucks to get coupons, I'm sure. That helps the mailmen and women out. But what does it do to the millions and millions and millions of Americans that were relying on those checks to come through the mail? Some of those people have disabilities and can't get out of their home. Okay? And if that's the case, maybe if someone was going to ride them to their bank or, like I said, their credit union or a check cashing place or a grocery store, they would have the money check cashed and they was controlling it better. Now some people might say, well, yeah, but then that means they got all this cash on them. But it's better to have it with them than for them to have someone now if it go a direct deposit, then they're going to go to a bank, open an account. It's at the bank's mercy or the credit union mercy, because they don't want you to have a banking account. Or maybe you had some problems in the past. Maybe you have some credit issues. I don't know. But all of a sudden you look and then now you got to go and get your computer perhaps so you can check your account and monitor your account. Or not. If not, then that means your money goes to the account. How are you going to get it out? That means those same elderly people that once upon a time just sat at home, was sitting at home and receiving their veterans checks or their SSI checks or their disability checks or whatever type of check they're receiving from the federal government. Those people are even retired military, they're receiving military checks. Those people were able to just get their checks, and at their leisure they were able to go and do whatever banking business they needed to do. Most of these people form a relationship with their bank or their credit union or their stores or whatever, and then they go and they handle their business. But what happens is when the paper checks go away, when in this paperless system, all of a sudden these people now got to find a way to the bank. They got to use their ATM cards, which leaves them vulnerable to being robbed by somebody. They got to now try to remember a PIN number. And some of these elderly people, I'm not knocking the elderly, but some people, the memory is not as good as it used to be. Hell, my memory is not as good as it used to be. Now you have to, each time you want something, somebody got to take you to the ATM machine, somebody got to take you to the bank to try to withdraw something. I don't know. People take advantage of old people a lot. Even people with disabilities. I don't like that. 'Cause it's not about me. Every time I talk about things on this show, it's not about me 95% of the time. It's about what I think is unjust and unfair for other people. And I think even though it's a money issue, I'm sure it is, and some people can argue both sides and say, well, it's safer. Because if the elderly person or disabled person or the veteran that's been injured in a war, whatever, he or she can't get out to their mailbox, somebody steals their check, then what? I understand that. I get that too. I get that logic. But I also worry about those people getting a ride somewhere and being robbed by the people that's taking them somewhere. I also worry about what happens if they lose their ATM card. What happens if they, don't remember the PIN and have to give it to somebody else? What happens if they have to trust someone else to get out to the machine because they can't get the machine? There's a lot of issues here that concerns me, even though it doesn't directly affect me. But it definitely directly concerns me. I'm worried about the people. I'm worried about their situations. I'm worried about their chances. And I'm worried that as we keep moving forward in this society, and there's nothing wrong with moving forward. I'm all about moving forward. I mean, that's the president's new slogan, forward, but that's not what I'm saying there. I'm all about moving forward. Technology is important. We have to keep reinventing ourselves and keep learning stuff because things are changing every day. And it used to be a time, once upon a time, a long time ago, that you could learn something and it would be valid to you for years to come. Now you can learn something and within 6 months it's obsolete. You gotta keep reinventing yourself over and over again, or you'll get left behind. A lot of times I look at situations and I feel like I'm getting left behind. Things are moving so fast. But that's just my opinion. For all you people out there, whether you're elderly, whether you're sick and shut in, whether you're military, whether you get disability, SSI, whatever it is, if you haven't heard about it, you haven't read about it, check into it with whomever you can check into it with. I read it actually in the TBT. That's how I know about it. But I'm feeling sorry for these people because I want people to know. Mark it on your calendars if you haven't already. They say March 2013 they're gonna go paperless. So I hope these people have gotten enough notice to where they can open some accounts and do some things. Then you got a situation where people need their Social Security money, and some of these banks out here are charging you if you don't have a certain amount of money in your account. They're gonna charge you so many dollars every month. So now you got some of these elderly people that's living on small amounts of money for Social Security. Because Social Security don't pay a lot anyway. So if you're underneath, maybe let's say $1,000 in some cases, in some banks, I don't know it's all banks, some of the banks out there have certain numbers you can't be under. These people already don't have any money really. And then they're going to get penalized every month for being under a certain number in their account. They're just giving more money to the rich bankers that already have money. That's sad. Should be a law against that. They shouldn't be do that to people but I know they got to get money somehow too. I don't know. I suggest you read up on it best you can. If people hearing this and you got family members that are on SSI, family members that have disabilities and receiving checks, or you have people that's getting veteran checks or whatever the case is, I hope you tell them about it. Read about it. Go back maybe and talk to TVC about their archives and get the article and read it and get with your family members and see can you help them and be able to deter this and whatnot. Well, you can't stop it because it's the government. It's nothing going to change, but at least prepare for it. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Like I said, once again, fighting for the people that sometimes can't fight for themselves, or trying to make the people aware of things that may not be aware of it. And hopefully through some of the things I'm saying, it will help them to prepare themselves for these new changes coming about in the next 10 months. Again, if you want to email me about this or any other topics, you can email me liveroosevelt@gmail.com, or you can go out there on YouTube, send me a message out there, check out some of the latest videos. We probably uploaded about, 7 or 8 videos in the last few days. You can go out there and check out some of those if you get a chance to see the show, bits and pieces of the show out there. YouTube.com/Roosevelt Live. I'm Roosevelt, and I'm your host of Roosevelt Live.